Hello, YouTube, and welcome to The Real Siberius. On this episode, I wanted to talk about Kevin Durant on the Mind the Game podcast. I'm not a huge Kevin Durant fan. I think he is talented, but I did gain a measure of respect for him in this episode of Mind the Game. Not because I enjoy the show. In fact, I think it's awful and should be removed from the internet immediately. However, I did appreciate the way that he was able to articulate his mindset, his game, and the way that he worked on improving his craft. That's absolutely something that I respected. What I also appreciated was that the entire time that he's talking about improving his game and the responsibility of the all-star on the team to carry the weight, but also to bear the burden in the moment when you need to score. I really appreciated that. And I thought it was valuable insight. And I kind of feel like it was a bit of a dig at LeBron because he's not that guy. And when Steve Nash and Kevin Durant are talking about technique and their understanding of the game, and all LeBron could do was go, yeah, yep. You knew very well he did not know what he was talking about, and it was pretty embarrassing and hard to listen to. I'm curious what you guys thought about it. If you watch the Mind the Game podcast, I imagine you probably don't because it's pretty painful. And if you have to listen to LeBron talk, I think most people can withstand it for maybe a minute or two and then they click off because he's not articulating any interesting points. He doesn't have a unique perspective. He's unable to articulate or break down his game, his understanding of the game, or in any meaningful way that he's improved his game over 22 years. It's kind of sad to listen to Steve Nash because I always thought that Steve Nash was such a great player. And he played in an era of real basketball, real defense. And the things that come out of his mouth or the things that he agrees to that come out of LeBron's mouth is really painful to listen to. And I've just lost all respect for him. I mean, he's a two-time MVP. And while I can still appreciate his game as an individual, I don't want to hear him talk anymore. Quite frankly, it's just as bad as listening to LeBron, if not worse, because we know LeBron is a jackass. And at one point, I held Steve Nash in high regard, and that's gone. I don't respect him anymore, and there's nothing that he can do to redeem himself. The only thing that I can hope, and this is something that Angry Old Hoops pointed out, that maybe there's a possibility that he's mocking LeBron right to his face or enabling him to expose his lack of basketball IQ, his intelligence. I hope that's the case. But until he comes out and outright says this was all a joke, it was a parody, it meant to mock and expose LeBron James for the clown that he is, that's not what it is. Until he says that's what it is, that's not what it is. And so it's painful. I've never made it through an entire episode. I don't have the stomach. It's pretty cringeworthy, and just hearing the idiotic things that he says, like the A all B all, and it has to be teached. Both of those things just, so painful to listen to. I hope none of you have listened to it. Because the less viewership they have, the better. But also, nobody should be subjecting themselves to that nonsense. It's just absolutely disgusting. Anyway, I'm curious to see what you guys think. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. As always, I do want to give a shout out to the content creators that helped this channel become a thing. Uncommon Sense, Angry Old Hoops, Self Research NBA Facts, 93 Zay, Sports and Fitness Rants, Uncut Hoops, Scap Attack, The Basketball Show, Speam Engine, In Your Face Hoops. All of you have inspired me to do this. I hope that soon the channel will start to grow and receive some level of feedback so I can understand if people even appreciate the takes that I have, or if they have any suggestions for content or ways that I can improve. This is still something that I don't really know what I'm doing, and I'm kind of winging it, but I decided once I started, I'm going to do it. I'm in all the way, so I'm curious to see what you guys think. All right, thanks a lot.